Hey friends, and welcome back. And today's video, Chibson, Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters rip-off. How I know, what I've done, and how you can protect yourself, coming right up. Okay, so no, I'm not going back to the full-time videos on Chinese rip-offs, but just in these times of uncertainty, there's a lot of extra fraud about, and it's happening a lot and likely to get worse under the current circumstances. And I don't want you guys to get ripped off. So this video today is based on information that came to me from two reliable sources now, and it seems it's been circulating around for a while. And the latest one was on the 25th of March on a Facebook site called UK Music Gear Exchange. This is a Facebook group that's associated with the huge online retail store Reverb. And so really, you'd expect better of them. And also, right on the very first page of this Facebook site, it says that it's illegal. It's part of their terms and conditions of using and signing up to it, that it's illegal to try and sell fake guitars. So why is this one on there? Well, I tried to join yesterday when somebody else made me aware of this situation, and I've waited about 24 hours, and it may just be that due to current social distancing restrictions that there aren't enough people manning that Facebook site, although it is online, so one would hope that it could be manned. But I haven't been accepted yet, because what I really wanted to do was that I wanted to get on and report this item. So because this isn't the first place that this particular guitar has been hawked. So let's go and have a look at the guitar in question, which is a Pelham Blue, or questionable Pelham Blue, Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters, Chibson. And I say Chibson because I'm absolutely certain that it's a Chinese knockoff, and I'll tell you why as well. The first thing, there's two immediate reasons why I absolutely know that this isn't a genuine guitar. The first one is the Epiphone style bridge with the cross-headed screw mount, and that is absolutely the biggest tell and giveaway for any Chinese Gibson, or Chibson as we call them. And this guitar most certainly has the Epiphone style bridge. Now, the second thing that completely gives it away for me is the fact that it hasn't got the orange sticker inside the top diamond hole. And all of the originals and all of the legitimate Gibson guitars in both of the limited runs have this sticker in there, and this guitar is missing that. So that's the other immediate, from a distance, tell that tells you that it's a fake straight away. So what's the problem? The biggest problem is that the person that's selling this guitar, and at this point in time I'm not going to dox them, but they seem to be absolutely aware of the fact that they're selling a counterfeit, and they are being told by a lot of responsible people on the Facebook site that that is illegal, and yet they are still courting offers and suggestions. This is not on, because this thing, although they're selling it as a knockoff and that they're acknowledging that it's a knockoff, this could get into the wrong hands, and this could cause somebody to spend an awful lot of money unfairly and in good faith, which would be a terrible shame, particularly if it happens to somebody that at this point in time can't afford to waste that money, and goodness knows none of us can at this point in time. So I really am very keen to make sure that this particular post comes down, and they've been trying to sell this guitar. They've been hawking it around all sorts of other sites I won't mention, because I think they've been removed from most, but it's currently up on the UK Music Gear Exchange on Facebook. So I'm going to ask for a little bit of help from you guys. If you are a member of that group, the UK Music Gear Exchange, then please, 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 please go and look on the 25th of March for this guitar and report it to the admins. And the second thing that you can really kindly do for me is you can let them know as well that I am not selling Chinese guitars, because they see China Guitar Skeptic, and I think that a lot of these companies, and particularly this one, may be thinking that I'm coming on to try and sell counterfeits rather than counter the counterfeits. Please let them know that my channel is all about exposing the fakes for what they are and trying to prevent people from getting ripped off. And then hopefully they'll accept me onto their group so that I can expose more of these for them. Okay, I just want to finish up by giving you guys a few other tells that are pretty obvious on this particular model, the Dave Grohl Foo Fighters Chibson or Gibson. And those things are that they never quite get the Pelham Blue colour right. It's always a little bit off. And I would always recommend making sure that you get pictures of any guitar that you're buying out in direct sunlight so that you've got a good colour rendering index and you can really see what the colour is. And then that way you can compare it to the correct guitar and you will be able to see that there is a colour difference. Never accept pictures that are taken indoors. Now, the other thing that you really need to look out for is that because of the metallic colours, a lot of the finishing on these, particularly on the nitrocellulose finishing, is not good. And it comes up orange peely because they don't want to rub it back too much because it's a very thin coat. And so they end up not cutting back the finish right. So you often see ripples in the finish. That's a big tell. You'd never see that on the original Gibson.
What's interesting about this specific guitar, though, is that I was given the option to either order a polyurethane finish or a nitrocellulose finish, which is what the actual Gibson guitars use. And I've seen some reviews online of people that have ordered the polyurethane finish, like the Epiphone guitars, but I've never seen anyone that ordered one of the nitro finishes, so I just decided to go ahead and get one of those and see what it was all about. And surprisingly, the color looks great and it definitely feels good to play. However, as you can see in some of these photos, there's a little bit of orange peel from the finish.
Another thing to do is ask them to remove the truss rod cover plate. And what you will find is if it's a Chibson, it will have the much deeper route and it will also have the Epiphone style hex wrench adjuster rather than the Gibson nut. And so that is another huge tell. And also, once you remove the truss rod cover, you will find that the finishing work around the truss rod entranceway is appalling, usually. Some of them are better than others, but usually it's pretty bad.
Taking a look under the truss rod cover, you can see they used a 2-screw truss rod cover. However, the channel was drilled out like an Epiphone or a guitar with a 3-screw cover. So you can see they just use a longer screw for that. It's also an Epiphone style truss rod with an Allen wrench adjustment.
And then finally, and this was a subtle one on this particular instance of this guitar, is that the wiring was visible through the diamond F-hole at the bottom. And you'll never see that on a Gibson. They're very fastidious about hiding that wiring away to make the guitar look as nice aesthetically as they can. So you won't see that on an original. Unless there's been a wiring change and somebody's not been so neat and tidy on putting their wiring back.
So to save myself a little bit of embarrassment, I didn't show this entire process because it can be very frustrating and almost never works on the first try. So it's just a lot of making small adjustments and using very small needle nose pliers to get everything in place.
So there you go. You now know what to look out for, and I really hope this helps some of you not to get ripped off by a Chibson style Dave Grohl Pelham Blue Foo Fighters guitar. As always, I really hope this has been useful and helpful to you and that you've enjoyed the video. If you have, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and a like. If you haven't, I don't mind the thumbs down either. But definitely put your comments down below because I'm sure many of you will have more comments on other tells that you can see on this instrument, and I really do hope that you share those with the community here so that nobody else gets ripped off. As always, it really can't hurt to subscribe, and if you do subscribe, make sure you've got notifications enabled and click that bell icon. There are two things to do. One's on your channel, the other one is to click and get notified of all uploads from my channel, and then you won't miss any more great content. And I'll be back really soon with the very best content I can provide you. But in the meantime, as always, my friends, and particularly at this point in time, take good care.